Hi besties, and welcome back to another day on Tiny Toot. If you haven't been following my Tiny Toot series, this is my no time traveling, no treasure islands, no cheating of any kind island, and I have been trying to completely decorate an Animal Crossing island without cheating in any regard, and it's honestly ended up being so difficult. I think that this is maybe the third month that I've been working on the island, and I still haven't been playing every day, and I think I've made like a fairly decent amount of progress, but it's definitely pretty slow going. I will say that it has really helped with my burnout, being able to just kind of like take things slow and put less pressure on myself to try to decorate an entire island in a specific theme. I did make a mistake this week though, and I bought a bunch of turnips and then didn't play for like a week straight, and my turnips definitely died. So that was a little bit disappointing, but not a super big deal. I'm also completely out of inventory space right now in my house, so I've started to just have to put like all of the items and stuff in this random little area on my island because I don't have any more space to put things away, which does kind of suck a little bit, but I'm very, very committed to earning all of my own money in the game, either via the stock market or from just like generally grinding for money. So I'm gonna have to just kind of deal with having messes everywhere because I will not be bending that rule. It's very important to me that I am able to pay off my house with absolutely no cheating because I just feel like that's such a rite of passage for the game. But I kind of wanted to talk about today how I am continuing to love Animal Crossing in 2025 despite the fact that this game has not gotten an update now for several years and probably will never have an update ever again, which is so hard to say and so sad, but I'm still very much loving Animal Crossing in 2025 despite that fact, and I'm still finding ways to make this game kind of feel fresh and fun for me. I still feel like I'm discovering new things about the game that I didn't know before, but I don't necessarily have a definitive list for everybody on how I'm doing this, but I will say that one of the things that's been working really well for me is I actually have 2 Animal Crossing islands, and I know that that's incredibly bougie and not everybody can have 2 Animal Crossing islands, but hear me out. I do think that there is a way for you to kind of achieve that sort of vibe maybe on only one Animal Crossing island. But what I've been doing is I have Tiny Toot, which is this island where I've been playing with no time traveling. I haven't really been focusing super crazy on like decorating in a specific theme, and I'm just kind of taking things very day by day and very chill. And then I have a second island, which is Honeycrisp, and that island I am doing in an entirely fall town theme. It does kind of have like a little spooky Halloween-esque vibe to it, but I feel like because I have these 2 islands, when I feel like decorating and going like absolutely crazy, decorating my island, then I have Honeycrisp for that. And then when I feel like just catching some bugs and fish and being really, really chill, I have Tiny Toot for that type of mood. And it's really helped me to stay interested in the game. I also think that my goals for each island are totally different. Like for Honeycrisp, I really want the island to look super cohesive. I want it to feel very finished. I really want to do my beaches and just like decorate every inch of that island and have it feel like very cohesive and complete. And then for this island, my goals are totally different. I want to complete the museum. I want to do all of the Nook Mile achievements. I want to pay off all of the different loan installments for my house with money that I earned. And I also want to have a 5-star island, which all of those things are things that I just literally don't care about on the island that I'm decorating on. I've also been time traveling on the other island, and I've been using treasure islands a bunch to just get whatever items I want. And so it's just kept me interested in the game to be able to kind of like bebop between those 2 islands. So what do you do if you don't have 2 Nintendo Switches and you also don't want to have 2 separate islands? I feel like it would be totally possible to have like a section of your island that you just focus on decorating really heavily and then just leave the rest of the island, pretty normcore if you wanted to. And I feel like you could totally treat it that way, where you just take breaks from decorating and do some dailies and try to grind to finish your museum. I know that that's not like super groundbreaking advice or anything, but I cannot stress to you enough how much it has kept me interested in playing the game. And I think the only other like little caveat that I'll add to that is getting other people involved in your gameplay makes Animal Crossing so much more fun. If you have a friend that you can hop on a Discord call with and just run around their island or do a little, like fishing competition with or bug catching competition, it is so fun to get to play Animal Crossing with friends. And I feel like Animal Crossing is not necessarily the perfect game for like co-op gameplay. Like it certainly wasn't made for that, but I do think that getting to yap with friends while you're playing the game together just makes it so much more enjoyable. So if you can get involved in like trading DIYs or sending little letters in the mail or whatever that is with any of your friends, I highly recommend doing that because it really does kind of bring back the spirit of like 2020 Animal Crossing for me in a really special way. So yeah, I hopefully that helps anybody who is maybe missing their Animal Crossing grind and wants to kind of reconnect with the game, but just isn't really sure how or doesn't really think it'll be fun anymore. I honestly don't think that I've taken a break longer than like maybe 8 months since the game came out, and I definitely think this is just special interest level for me. So I definitely understand that that's not the same for everybody, but yeah, I just really do love it, and I am still just really loving it in 2025 as well, and I hope that many of you guys are too. But yeah, just to get back to Tiny Toot a little bit from my rambling, I didn't really do much to start this particular day. I've been kind of not shaking my trees like I was in some of the earlier episodes of Tiny Toot. I've kind of slowed down on like hitting the rocks and stuff as well because I don't really have any more room for storing materials, and I kind of have enough-ish materials for things, so I haven't really been doing those dailies every day, only on days when I like really feel like grinding for something. So I'm kind of just collecting the fossils and saying hi to villagers, and then if there are like crops or fruit that I can collect, then I'll collect those and sell them. And of course I still want to visit the shops every day because getting more clothing and getting more furniture is really important. But I recently ended up finishing Happy Home Paradise, which if you're not sure what Happy Home Paradise is, it's the DLC for Animal Crossing. It is about $25.99 and it allows you to access a bunch of new gameplay, bunch of cool new items, and once you end up completing the DLC, you get the ability to edit your villagers' houses on your home island. And I did speed run the last few houses of the DLC because I really wanted to be able to do this. And so I decided to pick Shep's house today. And since I wasn't feeling terribly motivated to really do anything on the island, I felt like this would be the perfect thing to do today, is just give Shep's house a little makeover. And so I started by editing the outside of the house. And I absolutely love that you get to do this because if you want to like coordinate villagers' houses that houses don't necessarily go together, you can always use this as an opportunity to like make them match really well. And I've done this a couple of times on some of my past Animal Crossing islands, and it is so fun. I really enjoy it. I ended up settling on this kind of moody dark green vibe for his house, and I just think that the brown door looks so pretty, so that's what we ended up with. And this is his house before I made any changes to it. I really wanted to keep the cabin feel of the house, and so I ended up leaving the wallpaper at least and then just adding in like a little focal point wall on the back just because I think it gives it a little bit more visual interest. And I ended up going with the one that looks like stacked up wood. I just think it's like literally perfect for a cabin vibe. I think it's so cute. I really kind of wanted to retain the original elements that are in Shep's house, but just make it a little bit more elevated, just like a little bit more decorated and cute. I think he is one of the villagers that kind of has a pretty cute house to begin with, so he isn't one that I would like necessarily feel like I had to renovate, but I just think it's really cute to be able to do this. I think it's really fun that we got the ability to do this. And then I wanted to change out the flooring so that it's just like a slightly deeper brown color, just to kind of add in a little bit more of that kind of cozy cabin vibe. I knew that I wanted to section the room off into like 3 different areas. One will be like a little kitchen area. One is going to be this like sitting area by the fire. And then I wanted him to have like a proper bed as well. The challenge of decorating villager houses for me is that you don't really get a lot of space, and I actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think that you actually can change the size of their room. but don't quote me on that. Now I feel like that the next villager house that I decorate, I'm gonna have to try to change the size of the room to try to test out if you can or can't do that. I feel like you can't, but I don't know. I don't quote me on that. Somebody let me know in the comments below. That would actually kind of be a game changer, especially because the houses are so incredibly tiny. But I also feel like that's part of the challenge of it, and I kind of like that. Like you really have to challenge yourself to make a room that feels like kind of multi-dimensional with not a lot of space. So I kind of do enjoy that. I decided to add this little clock in here, and then I did the log bed as well, just because I think it fits the vibes super well. And then I'm just adding that little shelf to the end of the bed because I just think it kind of helps divide the room a little bit. I also don't have a lot of custom designs on this island right now, and so I'm trying to use some of the patterns that I've managed to get from Sable so far, and I think that green is just absolutely perfect in this room. There isn't really a lot of like color in here at all, especially with the brown rugs that I just put down. But I feel like if I was going to pick any color as an accent for a cabin, it would probably be like brown and green. So that's kind of what we ended up with here. Green is also my favorite color, so I feel like I end up using it in so many of my Animal Crossing builds, and I don't think that I will ever be able to stop doing that, honestly. I decided to add in the baker's lamp as the banker's lamp as well, because I just think it looks super cozy. And then when you have your villager turn their light off, it just adds the most wonderful ambiance into the room. I also just hate the big light. I hate the big light in real life too. Like, I very much enjoy having a cozy little lamp on and not having to deal with like the harsh overhead lighting. So I was trying to be considerate and not force Shep to have the big light either. Then I'm just adding in a few little details on the walls. I wish we had more wall decor in Animal Crossing. That's probably one of the things that I would put on my list, because I just love to be able to clutter up the walls as much as possible, and I feel like we just don't have enough things. I did find that fish model to put on the wall though, and I think that's just chef's kiss above the fireplace for a cabin. It's literally perfect. I don't know. I don't know if Shep necessarily feels like a cabin villager to me. He kind of feels a little bit like a hipster city boy in some ways. But this is the vibe that his house had to start with. So I just decided to continue to try to enhance it a little bit. I love the look of that dresser though. I can never remember what it's called, but it reminds me of like those bankers things, you know. They're basically just trinket holders now, but I just think they're so cute. That's been on my thrift find list for so long. Like, if I could find a little shelf like the ones that hang on the wall that looks like that with all of those little compartments, I would literally poop my pants with excitement, you guys. I think they're so cool. But that's pretty much the end of the build for Shep's little house. But that is going to take us to the end of this episode on Tiny 2. I hope that you guys are still enjoying the series. If you are still playing Animal Crossing, definitely let me know what things you're doing to keep yourself from getting burnt out. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!